Hello, I'm ArchieLuxury and welcome to the program Fuckers. Hello Fuckers, and today it's Easter Friday in Australia and two sports watchers. Today I'd like to talk about, because it's Easter, it's reflection, and what I wanted to talk about is false prophets. That's right, fuckers, false prophets. And I'd like to make this appeal to all the YouTubers out there who watch my channel and who also watch other luxury goods channels. And what I want to talk about today is, there are so many false prophets out there preaching the gospel. And I got to tell you this now. Some of these fuckers, just because you put together a YouTube channel, right? Just because you put together a YouTube channel, it doesn't make you an expert. You are a self-proclaimed expert. And the thing that really makes me want to puke is the fact that so many people on YouTube want to give advice on luxury goods, yet they've never really owned terribly many pieces. And it just shows you the amateurization that is the modern age. Everything's gone amateurish. It's gone to the lowest common denominator. Any fucker can get a mobile phone with a video camera, plonk down and film a segment, and suddenly they're a luxury goods guru and supremo. And I just got to say this, there are so many false prophets. So many false prophets out there proclaiming their expertise, but they've never owned one. Now, I got to tell you this, I don't think that I'm I don't think that I alone hold the key. No. I got to tell you the truth, fuckers. I've cocked up many things myself. Yes, I'm the first to admit I've fucked up many things. And I got to tell you, I know of many dealers who fuck things up too. They've bought a fake, or they got stiffed on a purchase, and there's many nasty things in this world here. And luxury watches, let me just say this to you, it's a fucking minefield. But if you're going to listen to someone for advice and, really go through with your purchases based on what someone on YouTube says, make sure you're listening to someone who's actually owned a few of these things. And I mean, in my own case, I love watches. I love quality wrist watches. I love them. But the thing is, fuckers, if you haven't owned a few, how can you really talk about it? It's like the Amway distributor who was married to the Virgin, right? Two Virgin Amway distributors. They were married, and they hadn't done it yet, but it was gonna be great. And this is the whole thing. Unless you've actually owned a few luxury watches, you really can't talk about it. You really can't talk about the other side. I mean, it's all very well saying, yes, this watch and that watch and this and that, but unless you've put the fucker on your wrist, unless you've examined the gold Submariner, unless you've held it in your hands, unless you put the links in your mouth, you really don't know about this watch. Yes, it's extremely flashy. Yes, it's Archibald luxury, but until you've owned it, cared for it, loved it, you aren't really able to give advice on it until you've worn it for a week and you've seen people's reaction, and, you really can't give advice. And this is what I'm trying to say, fuckers. There are people out there, they're amateurs. They don't know what they're doing. They're giving horological advice, and they're rather dangerous because they don't know much about watches. They haven't owned terribly many, and they all of a sudden, they've put together a YouTube channel, and they think they're on par with Archibald Chesterfield III. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You've got to have bought a couple pieces. I mean, I'm talking major bought and sold pieces. You've had to have had a few fuck-ups. I've had fuck-ups. I remember buying this Datejust in the 90s. It had more stretch than Grandma's undies. It had a redial, a bad redial. And I remember I paid high for it, and I barely got my money back after a lot of effort. And I bought other things where I made a lot of money. I bought red subs for under $1,500. This is how it is. Unless you've gone through the sausage factory, you can't be a guru. So many people there. I mean, I don't want to name names, but Johnny Jarzen. He's a cool guy. I like their hipster beards. The beards are cool. He's a nice guy. If I lived near him, I'd invite him over for a scotch. But he's just a hipster. All talk, no action. He hasn't leveraged himself to buy decent watches. He's still debating, does he get an Omega? Does he get this? Fuck me dead, Johnny. I've asked myself, do I get the annual while still having it? I've really leveraged myself to make the luxury goods happen. And Johnny's case, I don't think he's owned any bimetal or gold Rolexes. I don't think he's even owned a Rolex. And you got so many people there who are trying to give advice, and it's just poor. I must admit, I got a lot of respect for my good mate Simon Crane. He's a cool guy, and he kind of makes his videos. They're great videos. But he doesn't pretend to be an expert. He says, look, he wants to buy his first Jaeger-LeCoultre. And, I mean, in my own case, how many Jaeger-LeCoultres have I had? I've owned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've owned 5 of them. 5 of them, okay? I've owned 5. See, you've got to have the numbers. And I think we need to set up a standard for luxury goods gurus. I think you need to have bought and sold at least 50 Rolexes. You would have to have bought and sold, I would say, at least 10 upper luxury. We're talking Patek, AP, Breguet, Jaeger-LeCoultre, at least 10 of them. You've had to have owned and sold at least 10 upper luxury watches, because otherwise you can't give advice. You can't give advice. And I see Donny Haynes out there. I mean, I love him. He's an Ivy Leaguer. I mean, he's full of privilege and he's had opportunities. But the truth is, he comes to me and asks me, should he sell his IWC and his Omega, put money in and get an Explorer 1? And I said, man, don't do that. That's a bad deal. These dealers are snakes. They are snakes. And I mean, it's just the advice. He was going to do this bad deal, and I had to talk him out of it. I mean, then he's going to give you advice. I mean, someone who could make such a bad fuck up is going to give you advice. And you got to be so careful with these guys. These guys here, if you're going to listen to them, how many luxury goods have they owned? And most of these fuckers, they've never owned a solid gold Rolex. You know how many solid gold Rolexes have I owned? I've owned at least 10 of them. I'm talking solid gold, not by metal. I'm talking proper fucking gold Rolexes. And this is the thing, you gotta have at least had them, felt them, owned them, loved them, sold them, got them back again to give advice. If you've just it's gonna be great, like the Amway distributors, it's gonna be fantastic, it's gonna, you lose the point. You lose the point. And this is what I'm saying. In this Easter holiday, I want to warn the punters about false prophets. I'm ArchieLuxury, delivering quality, reliable, accurate content to the fuckers. Tell me what you miserable, nasty, mean, vicious fuckers think of that. Nice one, Archie. Great warning.
We specialize in the repair of Rolex and Patek Philippe watches. We've been doing the same thing for more than 25 years. We have Rolex technicians certified by Rolex who actually used to work for the company for many years, like if we're doing the work on the factory. We completely disassemble the watch and we put it to work like brand new condition. When you get a pre-owned watch, it's like if you're getting a brand new unit. The only difference is the money.